Gretzky buries it.
Robinson gets the first hit off ball.
Nothing like a musical start. Good evening, good afternoon. Hello to all of you here in the room. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to those of you joining us on Christie's Live. We're thrilled to have you. And to my wonderful colleagues on the telephones, connecting with people around the globe. We are thrilled that you're here with us today. The Jim Irsay Collection forms a chorus of cultural touchstones and chronicles one of the greatest collections of music, film, sports memorabilia, and historic Americana ever assembled. Meticulously compiled over decades by the late philanthropist, passionate music lover, and owner and CEO of the Indianapolis Colts, a portion of the proceeds of these sales will be donated to philanthropic causes supported by Jim Irsay during his lifetime. On behalf of our Christie's team and the fabulous colleagues that have put this sale together, we're thrilled that you're here. A couple saleroom announcements to begin before we start. Please remember that the purchase price payable is the sum of the final bid price plus the buyer's premium and all applicable sales or use taxes. Bidders should note that the auctioneer may open the bidding on any lot below the reserve by placing a bid on behalf of the seller. I, as the auctioneer, may then continue to bid on behalf of the seller up to the amount of the reserve, either by placing consecutive bids or by placing bids in response to other bidders. Please note that lot number 11 contains African ivory, which is elephant ivory, which is endangered, protected, or otherwise regulated, and it'll be available only for purchase to bidders residing in the United States. The successful bidder will be responsible for arranging their own shipment within the United States or collecting in person and will be responsible for applicable New York taxes. For any other information or for premium rates or any other information you need, please refer to christies.com, the auction catalog, our colleagues downstairs, anyone on the telephone banks. We're all here to help. And without that, with all that behind us, we can begin very promptly with lot number 1. This is the Buddy Holly, a very rare concert poster for the 3rd of February, 1959, known literally as the day the music died. This is the only known example of this poster in existence. And where should we start? Let's start at $100,000, please, for this, at $100,000, at $100,000, $110,000, $120,000, at $120,000, $130,000, at $130,000, $140,000 is online, at $140,000, $150,000, at $160,000, at $160,000, ahead of the online bidder at $160,000. Anywhere else? $160,000 is against you all in the room and on Christie's Live at $160,000. Anywhere else? At $160,000, $170,000. Thank you, Alex Rotter, global president, right here. Alex, your bid at $170,000. At $170,000, $180,000 in Germany, against you. At $180,000. At $180,000, $190,000 is still ahead of you. At $190,000, still online at $190,000. Do you want $200,000? $190,000 against you in Germany and also against Alex. $200,000 is bid, thank you. At $200,000, right here at $200,000. Anywhere else at $200,000. Alex, your bid at $200,000. Anywhere else? $200,000 is the bid and selling. It's here. $220,000 in time. At $220,000, at $220,000, at $220,000, at $220,000, $240,000 is bid. Right there, Alex has the bid at $240,000. At $240,000, $260,000 is bid online. At $260,000, do you want $280,000? 260 is bid. 300 is bid. Thank you, Alex. 300,000 right here. Hopefully we're going to have plenty of that this evening. 300 is right here at 300,000. Alex, your bid, $300,000. Anywhere else online, anywhere else in the room, $300,000 it is. And selling, Alex, you have it, 320 against you at 320. We're on lot one, people. 340, thank you. 340 is the bid, right here at 340, at 340,000, at 340. Online, 360, at 360,000. You're out, 360 it is. Online, you have it at $360,000. Anywhere else in the room, 360 it is. Selling to our online bidder. Thank you for joining us. Hope you stay for the entire sale. 360 it is, and selling $360,000. Right there at 360. Thank you. Battle 3302. Lot number 2 is Les Paul's prototype for the Les Paul Custom, showing downstairs, and obviously starting here, let's say at $60,000 already, at $60,000, $65,000, at $65,000, $70,000, at $75,000, at $75,000. Anywhere else here at $75,000, at $75,000. Looking against the room here at $75,000. Anywhere else at $75,000. $80,000, thank you. Online has the bid at $80,000. Right here at $80,000, at $80,000. Online has the bid, $80,000. Anywhere else, $80,000 it is. And selling, online bidder has this, $85,000 in time. Competing online bids, 90 it is, thank you. At 90,000, 84, it's your bid. 95,000, competing online bids at 95. 100 is bid at $100,000. Anywhere else, $100,000. Several competing bids, all on Christie's Live. 110 is bid. Anywhere else, at 110. Online, you have this, 110 it is. And selling, 110,000. Right here, 120 takes it away at 120. Online bids still have this at 120,000. Anywhere else, 120 it is, 3084, still with you, looking promising. Your bid at $120,000. Last chance, selling for $120,000. Sold 120,000. That goes to 3084. Lot number 3 is Johnny Cash. This is the Martin D21 acoustic guitar. This is used in the late 1950s and given to his brother Tommy in the late 1960s. This is offered with documentation, with documented family provenance, in fact, and is the only known 1950s era Johnny Cash guitar to come to auction. Let's begin, shall we please, at $100,000 to start for this, at $100,000, at $100,000, at $100,000, $110,000, thank you, sir, welcome. At 110 is right here, 120 against you, at $120,000, at $120,000, at $130,000, $140,000, at $140,000, $150,000, thank you. Online has it at $150,000, at $150,000. Online, your bid at $150,000, $160,000, at $160,000. Try 170. At $160,000. Anywhere else? At $160,000. 170 it is. Online has the bid at $170,000. Online has this $170,000. Anywhere else? 170 is the bid. Sir, do you want to come back? 170,000. I had to check. At 170,000, online has the bid at 170,000 right here, and selling for $170,000. Last chance at 170. Sold 170,000. Thank you. This is paddle 3111. Lot number 4. This is Ringo Starr's pinky ring. This is reportedly, Ringo wore this to every single Beatles performance. The pinky ring showing here and obviously downstairs as well. Let's start, shall we, at $42,000, please. At $42,000, $45,000, thank you. Bonnie Brennan's bid at $45,000, $48,000, $50,000 it is. Bonnie's bid at $50,000, right here at $50,000, $55,000. Still against you at $55,000, $60,000 it is, ahead of the online bidder as well. at $60,000. It's in the room with our CEO. $60,000 right here on my right, against you online. Come back. 65 it is. At 65. 70? 70 is bid. At 70,000. 75,000. At 75. Shakes her head. 75,000. Online has the bid at 75,000. Anywhere else? At $75,000. Online has the bid at 75,000. Anywhere else? 75 it is. Last chance, Bonnie. Pardon? I will. 76. Why not? It's all going philanthropic causes. Why not? 76. I'll go 78 if you'd like it. 77. Why not? There it is. 77. At 77. 80. Thank you, Rachel. 80,000. Right here at 80,000. 85,000 against you. At 85. Do you want 90? 85 is the bid. At 85. 90, thank you. Rachel White-Young has the bid at 90. 95 takes it away. At 95. 95,000 is the bid. At 95. Right here, online has it, Rachel. And selling, online bidder has it, $95,000 against both of you on the telephone at 95. $95,000. Rachel, we are on lot 4. At $95,000, it is here, shakes her head. Thank you for letting me know. 95 it is, and selling for $95,000. Sold for $95,000. Paddle number 33, 34. Lot number 5 is next. This is Ringo Starr's first Ludwig drum kit. And it is the drum kit acquired by Ringo Starr in April of 1963 and used by him extensively as his sole drum kit for all Beatles appearances and recordings from the 12th of May, 1963 to the 4th of February, 1964. It was additionally used by Paul McCartney to record his first solo album, McCartney, in 1970. So downstairs is viewed. Where should we start? $800,000 to start for this, at $800,000, at $800,000. Anywhere else here at $800,000, at $800,000, $850,000, at $850,000, at $850,000, $900,000, at $900,000, at $900,000. Anywhere else here at $900,000, at $900,000. Anywhere else in the room here at $900,000. At $900,000, $950,000, thank you, just ahead of the online bidder. I heard you, Alex, at $950,000. Bids right here at $950,000. Online, would you like $1 million? It's at $950,000. $1 million is bid. Sarah Coleman has the bid at $1 million. At $1,100,000. At $1,000,001. At $1,100,000. At $1,000,001. Online or Sarah, I'll take 1, 2. $1,200,000. Sarah's bid at $1,200,000. $1,300,000 is bid. Alex back in at 1,300,000. At $1,300,000. $1,400,000. At 1,400,000. $1,500,000. At $1,500,000. At 1,500,000. $1,600,000. At 1,600,000. $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. Right here. At $1,700,000. Sarah, what are we doing? $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. Against you, Alex. $1,900,000. At $1,900,000. At $1,900,000. At $1,900,000. You saw it, ladies and gentlemen, $1,900,000. Alex, it is still with you at $1,900,000. Online, this might be a good time to come in. $1,900,000 is right here with Alex. Last chance to everyone here in the room. $1,900,000 is with Alex. Fair warning, Sarah, and selling for $1,900,000. Alex, going to you. $1,900,000. Thank you. 1886. Well done. Lot number 6, this is George Harrison's Matin Master Sound guitar used during the Beatles' summer 1963 UK tour and in Melbourne, Australia in circa 1960. $170,000 to start for this at $170,000. At $170,000. At $170,000, $180,000. At $180,000, $190,000. At $190,000, $200,000. At $200,000. Anywhere else at $200,000. At $200,000. Looking to the room here at $200,000. Anywhere else here at $200,000. At $200,000. Here at 200. Anywhere else at $200,000. At $200,000. At $200,000. Fair warning to the room at $200,000. Last chance at $200,000. Fair warning at $200,000. Zeta, 200. Last chance at $200,000. It's a pass at 200. Lot number 7 is next. This is the Beatles' logo drumhead used for their historic debut appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show on the 7th of February, 1964. It bears that fantastic Beatles drop T logo and the Ludwig logo, shown so beautifully downstairs. Where should we start on this? Let's start, shall we please, at $500,000 for this only at $500,000. At $500,000, $550,000, $600,000. At $650,000, $700,000. At $750,000 online, thank you, at $750,000. Online has the bid at $750,000. At $750,000. Online bidder has this at $750,000. $800,000, thank you, at $800,000. $850,000 against you online at $850,000. At $850,000. $900,000. Rachel White-Young, $950,000 is against you with the online bidder at $950,000. Should we stay $1 million at $950,000? Still with the online bidder at $950,000. Anywhere else at $950,000. $1 million is bid. In the room at $1 million. At $1 million, right here in the room, against the online bidder and against you, Rachel. Anywhere else on this side. $1 million is here. At $1 million. $1,000,001, thank you. Welcome, sir. At $1,000,001 is right here. Against 2 telephones and in the room. At $1,000,001. $1,200,000. At $1,000,002. At $1,000,002. In the center of the room at $1,000,002. At $1,000,002. $1,300,000. At $1,000,003. At $1,300,000, $1,400,000 is bid. At $1,000,004. In the room against several places, $1,500,000. At $1,000,005. On my left, could be yours, sir, 1.6. Say yes, $1,000,006 is yours. At $1,000,006. At $1,600,000. Here on my right at $1,000,006. Still 2 telephones and 2 people in the room at $1,600,000. At $1,000,006. It is here, $1,650,000. At $1,000,007, thank you, is bid. At $1,000,007. I'll take $750,000 if you'd like it, sir. $1,000,007 is right here. At $1,000,007. In the room at $1,750,000. At $1,750,000. On my right at $1,750,000, $1,800,000. At $1,008,000. 50? At $1,008,000, $1,850,000. At $1,850,000. At $1,850,000. At $1,009,000. $1,009,000 is bid. At least you're smiling, sir. $1,950,000. At $1,950,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million. At $2 million. How about 1, sir? $2,000,001? It's right here on my left. $2,000,001 is bid. At $2,000,001. We could try 2.2. At $2,100,000. At 2,000,001. Looking promising, sir, at 2,000,001. Against both the telephones, Maria and Rachel, still looking at you at 2,100,000, 2,200,000. At 2,000,002. Should we try 2,300? How about 2,250? You've come this far, sir. I mean, why wouldn't I offer that? At 2,250,000. At 2,250,000. 2,000,003. We had to try. At $2,300,000. It's on the telephone this time. At 2,000,003. Thank you for your bids. Thank you for your bids. $2,300,000 is right here. Maria, last chance. At $2,300,000 on the telephone. Rachel, your bid at 2,000,003 and selling. Last chance at 2,000,003. It's yours at 2,000,003. Well done, 2,300,000. 1854. Well done. Yeah, thanks. Lot number 8 is next. This is John Lennon's stage-plays Rose Morris Rickenbacker guitar used during the Beatles' Christmas shows in December 1964 to January of 1965. Lennon gave this guitar to Ringo Starr in 1968, as we have carefully outlined in our catalog. It is in very, very, very good condition. Lot number 8, let's start, shall we please, at $400,000 already here at 400,000, 420,000, 450,000, at 450,000, 480,000, 500,000, at 500,000. Go 550, $500,000 is here, 550 is yours, at 550,000. At 550,000, 600,000 competing bids all online. At 650,000, thank you. At $650,000. The bid's right here at $650. Anywhere else, 600, 700,000 is bid. All bids on Christie's Live, $750 it is. Anywhere else at $750,000. Online, you have it at $750. At $750,000. At $800. At $800 now. 800,000, 850,000. At $850. Are we going on? $850, 3047, it's yours at the moment, but $900 takes it away. At $900,000, 950,000, we're not through yet. $950,000 is bid. Right here at $950. Any more? At $950,000. The bid's right here at $950,000. $1 million is bid. At $1 million. Online has this at $1 million. Paddle 3334, it is yours at the moment at $1 million. At $1 million. Anywhere else at $1 million. It is here on Christie's Live. Last chance to everyone in the room at $1 million. It is here and selling. Last chance online at $1 million. Sold $1 million. Paddle 3334. Lot number 9 is next. This is John Lennon's Gretsch 6120 Chet Atkins guitar, used during the recording sessions for the Beatles' 1966 single, Paperback Writer and Rain. Lennon gave this guitar to his cousin, David Birch, and this guitar, as Carrie Keane has so carefully noted, demonstrates John Lennon's rockabilly roots. So let's start on lot number 9 at $350,000 for this, please. At $350,000. At $350,000, $380,000, $400,000 against you online. At $400,000, $420,000, thank you. At $450,000, $480,000 is there online. $500,000 is against you. At $500,000, $550,000. Online has the bid at $550,000. Anywhere else at $550,000. It is right here online at $550,000. Anywhere else in the room, $550 is the bid. Yes? 600 is bid. Thank you, 600,000. It is with you at 600,000, 650,000 against you. At 650, 700,000. At 700,000. At 700,000, 750,000 is against you. At 750,000, 800,000. Online, just ahead of you, I saw here first, 850 is there. At 850,000. At 850, would you like 9? $850,000 is bid. At 850, 900,000, thank you. At 900 is bid. Online, 950, thank you. At 950,000. At 950,000, 1 million is bid. On Christie's Live at $1 million. At 1 million. Any more? At $1 million. Online has the bid at 1 million. At $1 million. Anyone else want to come in? At $1 million. Online bidder has the bid at 1 million. It is here online and selling for $1 million. Online bidder has this. Thank you very much for your bids. 1 million is here and selling. Paddle 3334. It is yours, selling to you for $1 million. Sold. Well done. Thank you. 1 million. Lot number 10 is next. This is the George Harrison's Gibson SG standard guitar, used extensively from 1966 to 1968. It's revered for its tone and its playability. Everyone loves this guitar. Let's start, shall we please? At $500,000 to start, at 500,000, 550,000, 600,000 already, at 600,000, 650,000 online, at 650,000. At $650,000, 700,000, thank you. Carrie, your bid at 700,000. Right here with Carrie, 750,000. Come back to me, Mr. Keene, at 750. 800 is your bid at 800. 800,000, 850,000. At 850. Do you want 9? 900 is yours. Carrie Keene's bid at $900,000. Online, it's against you. Here with Carrie at 900,000. 950,000, thank you. So he's bid at 900. $1 million is bid online. At $1 million against you both. 1,100,000. At 1,000,001. At $1,100,000. Bless you. At 1,000,001. At 1,000,001. 1,200,000. At 1,000,002. Online has the bid at 1,200,000. 1,300,000. At 1,000,003. At 1,000,003. 1,400,000. At 1,400,000. Should we try 1,500,000? 1,400,000 is the bid. It's right here at 1,400,000. At $1,400,000. Carrie, at 1,400,000. At $1,400,000. Bid is on Christie's Live, 1,400,000 against the competing online bids, $1,400,000. Online has the bid, fair warning, Sophie, at 1,400,000. At 1,400,000. At 1,500,000, I see you. At 1,500,000. The paddle helps, sir. At 1,500,000. Thank you. At 1,500,000. At 1,500,000. I see you. 1,500,000 is right here. At 1,500,000. Your bid at 1,500,000. 1,600,000 is here. 155. I'll take 1,600,000 if you'd like it, sir. At 1,550,000. 1,600,000 is now online. Thank you for your bids. 1,600,000 is there. At 1,600,000. 1,650,000. At 1,600,000. Online has the bid at 1,600,000. At 1,600,000. At $1,600,000. Still here at 1,600,000. Sir, I'm just hovering just in case. 1,600,000 is still here at 1,600,000. Sophie, 1,600,000 is still here and selling at $1,600,000. There's only so much of this that we can take. At 1,600,000, it is still here and selling at 1,600,000. Oh my goodness, 1,650,000. Online, I'd like 1,700,000. At 1,650,000 is here in the room. Let's try 1.7. At $1,650,000. Come back to me. At $1,650,000. It is on the telephone. It is here in the room at Christie's. $1,700,000 online. At 1.7. Should we try 1.8? I have a feeling you might come back with something else. At $1,700,000, I thought so, $1,750,000, $1,800,000 straight away at $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. That looks definitive this time. Thank you very much for your bids. $1,800,000. Sir, I'm checking in. At $1,800,000. Thank you for your bids. $1,800,000 is the bid. Christie's Live has this at $1,800,000 and selling $1,800,000. Last chance at $1,800,000. Sold at $1,800,000. 3334. Lot number 11 is next. This is John Lennon's Broadwood upright piano, on which he composed Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, A Day in the Life, and Being for the benefit of Mr. Kite, for the Beatles' landmark album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in 1967. This was John Lennon's personal piano and resided in his home. Lot number 11, let's start, shall we please, at $220,000, at $220,000, at $240,000 straight away, $260,000, at $280,000, $300,000, at $300,000, still against the room at $300,000, $320,000, at $320,000. At $320,000. Anywhere else? At $350,000 online. Thank you. At $350,000. Online has the bid at $350,000. $380,000. Welcome, Anna Maria Celis. $380,000 is here. At $380,000. At $380,000. It's on this side. Anna Maria, it is your bid at $380,000. At $380,000. $400,000 is online. At $400,000. At $420,000, thank you. At $420,000. Several phones I can see still in on this. $420,000 is the bid. $440,000 is bid. At $440,000. Will you give me $460,000? $450,000, why not? At $450,000 is here. $460,000. $480,000 is online. At $480,000. At $500,000 is bid. Bonnie's bid at $500,000, $550,000 against all three of you. At $550,000. Anywhere else? At $550,000. $650,000 is bid. Bonnie Brennan's bid at $650,000 this time. At $650,000, $700,000. Online takes it away. At $750,000. Anna Maria, I'm still checking in with you. $750,000 is here. At $750,000. $800,000, thank you. Maria Loss enters the bidding. Head of Client Advisory right here. $850,000 against both of you this time. At $850,000. $900,000 is bid. At $900,000. $950,000. Online bidder at $950,000. $1 million is bid. Bonnie's bid at $1 million. At $1 million. $1,100,000. Head of the online bidder, I heard Maria first. At $1,100,000. I'll take 1-2 if you'd like it online. At $1 million is here. 1-2 is next. At $1,100,000. $1,200,000. At $1,200,000. $1,250,000. Would you like 1-3? At $1,250,000. Maria Loss has the bid at $1,250,000. Bonnie, online, Anna Maria, anywhere else, at $1,250,000. The bid is still on this side. $1,300,000 is bid. at 1,000,003. Online just ahead of you this time at 1,300,000. I'll take 50. 1,003,000, pardon? 1,400,000 is bid. At 1,004,000, 1,500,000. At 1,005,000, 1,600,000, Maria's bid. At 1,006,000. At $1,600,000. 1,007,000 is bid. At 1,007,000. Christie's Live has the bid this time at 1,007,000 against both telephones. 1,800,000, not giving it up quite yet. At 1,008,000. At $1,800,000. Still here, Maria's bid at $1,800,000. 1,900,000. Ahead of you, Bonnie, at 1,009,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million. Maria's bid at $2 million. It is on the telephone with Maria Loss at $2 million. At $2 million. I'll take 2-1 from either of you. At $2 million. Online or Bonnie, who would like 2-1 first? At $2 million. Anywhere else here? Maria, it is your bid. It is not. 2,100,000. Online has it at 2,000,001. 2,200,000 straight away. At 2,000,002. Online, do you want 2-3? At $2,200,000. On this side, Maria Loss's bid at 2,002,000. At $2,200,000. Anyone else want to come in at this stage? 2,200,000 is here. Maria, the bid is yours at 2,002,000. Looking promising to you, 2,200,000. Give me a signal, yes or no. Online, fair warning, $2,200,000. For the Lennon piano at 2,002,000. Maria, it is coming your way at 2,002,000. Oh my gosh, 2,300,000. 2,400,000. At 2,004,000. At $2,400,000. 2,500,000. Bonnie's bid at 2,500,000. 2,600,000. Looking to the online bidder as well, just in case. At 2,600,000. Bonnie, 2,700,000. Yes? At 2,600,000 is still with Maria. At $2,600,000. Shaking her head, Maria, it now might be coming your way. $2,600,000. Last chance on this side and in the room, $2,600,000. It is yours at 2,600,000. Well done at 2,600,000. Well done. Lot number 12. Lot number 12. This is the rare color UK Beatles fan club poster for the Beatles' 1967 album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band. Signed in blue ink by Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Showing downstairs and obviously right here on the screen. Let's start, shall we please, at 50,000, 55,000, 60,000 already here with me. At 60,000, 65,000, 70,000, sir, against you. Do you want 75? At 70,000 is still here with me. 75,000 online, 80,000 is with me. I'll take 85 if you'd like it, sir. 80,000 is right here. At $80,000 with the absentee bidder at 80,000. At 85,000 on Christie's Live. Would you like 90? 90,000, thank you. At 90,000. My absentee bidder is out. 90,000 is with you, Peter. 95,000. Darling Dave's bid at 95. 100,000 is here at 100,000. at 100,000. 100. Sophie, welcome back. 110,000. At 110,000. I can also call you darling. At 110,000. 120,000. At 120. At 120,000 on this side. Pierre Clarnet's bid at 120. At $120,000. Still with you, Peter, at 120,000, 130,000. At 130. 140? 130 is against you. $130,000. It is here at 130,000, 140,000 online. Bidder in New York at 140. At $140,000. Straight here, online, at 140,000, definitive no, definitive, anywhere else, 140,000 online, it is coming to you at $140,000. Anywhere else in the room, last chance, sir, at $140,000. It is here and selling for $140,000. Sold online, thank you, 140,000. 3276. Lot number 13, this is the Beatles, custom prototype Vox Kensington guitar, very rare. There's in fact only one of these. Let's start, shall we please, at $200,000 to start. At $200,000, at $220,000, $240,000, at $240,000, $260,000, $280,000 against you in the room. At $280,000, $300,000 online. At $300,000, right here at $300,000. Anyone else? At $300,000, $320,000. All the bids are online, $350,000. At $350, $380 is next. At $350,000, would you like $380? $350 it is. It is your bid at $350,000. Anywhere else at $350,000? Sarah, looking to you, $380,000 on Christie's Live at $380,000. $380, $400,000 is bid. At $400,000 with the online bidder. At $400,000. Online has this at $400,000. All the bids are on Christie's Live at the moment. $400,000 it is. $420,000. At $420,000. Still online. At $420,000. At $420,000. Bid is still here. Fair warning to everyone else in the room. $420,000 it is, and selling. Online has this at $420,000, $450,000 in time. At $450,000. $30.57, it is your bid at the moment. $480,000 takes it away. Paddle 33.34 at $480,000. Would you like 5? At $480,000. $480,000 is the bid. You could round it up to $500,000 if you'd like it. $480,000 it is, and selling, fair warning, at $480,000. Anywhere else here in the room, $480,000, selling online for $480,000. Sold, $480,000. Paddle 33.34. Lot number 14. This is the Beatles, Paul McCartney's handwritten lyrics for Hey Jude. The 10 lines in black ink on a plain sheet of paper, written out by McCartney as a prompt for recording purposes for EMI Studios on the 30th of July, 1968. Let's start, shall we please, at $320,000 for this, at $320,000, at $320,000, $350,000, $380,000, at $380,000. Anywhere else here at $380,000, at $380,000. Looking to the room at $380,000. $400,000, thank you, at $400,000. Alex's bid at $400,000. Alex, it is your bid at $400,000. Anywhere else at $400,000. Alex's bid at $400,000. It is with you, Alex, at $400,000, $420,000 against you. Do you want $450,000? $450,000 is your bid at $450,000 against the online bidder at $450,000. Alex, your bid at $450,000. Come back to me online. At $480,000 against you. Do you want 5? $500,000 is bid. At $500,000. These are the Hey Jude lyrics. $550,000 online is the bid. At $550,000. Do you want 6? 6 is yours. At $600,000. At $600,000. 50 could be next. At 50. $600,000 is right here. $650,000 is online. 7? 7 is yours. At $700,000. Now with Alex at $700,000. Anywhere else in the room at 700,000. With Alex Rotter, 700 is the bid. Right here at 750 takes it away. 8? Why not? At $750,000 to the online bidder. I knew it. 800 is here. Alex, your bid at 8. Anywhere else? Online, 800 is the bid. You need to give me 50 at $800,000. Mr. Rotter's bid, 800 it is. Fair warning to the online bidder. It is at $800,000. Last chance in the room and selling $800,000. It is here with you, Alex, and selling for $800,000. Sold for $800,000. Thank you. 1885. Well done. Lot number 15 is next. This is the Beatles' Ringo Starr's snare drum from his second Ludwig drum kit from 1964. It was not part of the kit that we sold earlier, but that's why Jim bought it. Lot number 15. Let's start, shall we please? At $30,000 for this already, at $30,000, $32,000, at $32,000, at $32,000, $35,000. Welcome, Texas. At $32,000, $35,000, at $38,000. Thank you. Online has the bid now at $38,000, $40,000. They're back. Texas has the bid at $40,000. Anywhere else at $40,000, $42,000. Elsewhere online at $42,000. At $45,000. Welcome, Natalie, at $45,000. Natalie Furneaux, one of the specialist leads in today's sale, $45,000 is with you at $45,000. Natalie, welcome, $45,000 it is. $48,000 against you. Do you want 50? At $48,000. 50 is yours. At $50,000. At $50,000 in the room. Online, I saw you trying to come in. You could take 55 if you'd like it. 55 it is. Do you want 60? 60 is bid. Quietly confident, your bid, 60,000. At 60,000. Natalie's bid at 60,000. Right here. $60,000. Online, 65 if you'd like it. Otherwise, Natalie, it is your bid. It is not 65. Texas has it at 65. 70 elsewhere online. At 70,000. We all saw it. At 70. Do you want 75? 75 is yours. At 75,000. Online, 80 if you'd like it. 75 is right here with Natalie at 75. Natalie's bid at $75,000. Looking to the rest of the room. Anywhere else here? 75 it is. Natalie, it is yours at $75,000. Fair warning and selling for $75,000. Sold, $75,000, 1836. 1836. Yes? Thank you, Nick. Lot number 16. Showing here on the screen and obviously downstairs as viewed, this is the affidavit filed by Paul McCartney. This rostrum. An affidavit filed by Paul McCartney to break up the Beatles with John Lennon's handwritten and very personal annotations from 1970. Showing downstairs as viewed. Let's start the bidding, shall we please, at $80,000 already at $80,000. At $80,000, $85,000, $90,000 is already here with me at $90,000. At $90,000, $95,000, $100,000 is here. Online has the bid at $100,000. Anywhere else? At $100,000. Absentee bidder has the bid at $100,000. $110,000, welcome Nevada. $120,000 is against you. At $120,000. Would you like $130,000? $120,000 it is here. At $120,000. $130,000. New York, welcome. At $130,000. I'm out. $130,000 it is. Nevada, come back at $130,000 is in New York. Online at $130,000. Anywhere else here in the room? $130,000 is the bid and selling for $130,000. Last chance, selling here at $130,000. Online, thank you, $130,000. You are paddle 3276. Lot number 17 is next. This is Paul McCartney's left-handed, of course, Yamaha bass guitar used extensively on stage and in the studio from 1979 to 1984. $120,000 to start for this. At $120,000, $130,000. At $130,000. Anywhere else here at $130,000, $140,000, $150,000. At $150,000. At $150,000. 160 is next. At $150,000. Anywhere else here at $160,000. Thank you, Maria. At $160,000. Maria's bid at $160,000. $170,000. At $170,000. At $180,000. Thank you, Maria. At $180,000. Still here at $180. $190 if you'd like it. $180 it is. Maria's bid at $180,000. Maria, it is your bid at $180,000. Anywhere else? $180 it is. It is selling here. Maria's bid at $180,000. Last chance at $180,000. Maria, well done. $180,000, 1859. 1859. Law number 18, this is Eric Clapton's Gibson SG, known as the Fool. Incredibly iconic instrument. Let's start, shall we please? $500,000 to start for this at $500,000, $550,000, $600,000, at $600,000 already, at $600,000, $650,000, Jellen's bid, at $650,000, $700,000 is bid, $750,000 in the room, at $750,000, $800,000 is bid, at $800,000, at $800,000. Carrie Keene's bid at $800,000, $850,000 is yours, sir, at $850,000. In the room at $850,000. It's against you, Carrie. It's here in the room at $850,000. The Fool at $850,000. $900,000. $950,000. Back in the room at $950,000 with our original bidder at $950,000. $1 million is bid. At $1 million. Looks like you've got support everywhere, sir. $1,100,000 is on the telephone. I do too. Okay. At $1,000,001 is against you. Do you want one too? At $1,000,001. Are you sure? 1,200,000 is in the room. At $1,000,002. It is here in the room now at $1,000,002 against two other telephones, $1,300,000. Do you want 1,400,000? At $1,003,000. 1,300,000 is here. 1,400,000. At $1,400,000. Sarah, 1,500,000. At $1,500,000. 1,600,000. Yes? No. At $1,500,000. At $1,500,000. How about $1,550,000? You're still shaking your head. I tried, sir. At $1,500,000. Sarah's bid at, I knew it, $1,550,000. I know. It's the excitement. It's contagious. It's definitely contagious. 1,600,000. You might get that again, sir. You never know. Sounds like the room's on your side. At 1,600,000. Yes? No? At $1,600,000. It is on this side at 1,600,000. Alex? I haven't forgotten you. 1,600,000 is on this side. Okay, 1,600,000. Last chance in the room. Two different places here against you, Alex. 1,600,000. 1,650,000 online. At 1,650,000. At 1,650,000. 1,700,000 straight away. At 1,700,000. You could try 1,750,000, sir. I know you said no to 1,650,000. 1,750,000. At 1,750,000. 1,800,000. At 1,800,000. Online, I'll give you 50 if you'd like it. $1,750,000 is on the telephone here with Sarah Coleman. $1,800,000. Any more? I'm checking back in with you, sir. Checking back in with both of you, just in case. $1,900,000. At $1,900,000. Online has the bid. At $1,900,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million. $2,100,000. Christie's live at $2,100,000. How about 2.2, Sarah? 2.2 is bid at $2,200,000. $2,300,000. At $2,300,000. 2.4 at $2,300,000. Say 2.4. Yes, $2,400,000. At $2,400,000. At $2,400,000. Online, 2.5. At $2,400,000. At $2,400,000. Still on our telephone at $2,400,000. It could be yours at 2.5. $2,400,000 is the bid. I'll give you another second. $2,400,000. Last chance in the room. Fair warning at $2,400,000. The Fool is here at $2,400,000. It is on the telephone and selling for $2,000,000. I had to check. $2,400,000. Well done, $2,400,000. Thank you. 1858. Lot number 19 is next. Thanks, Nick. Lot number 19 is Bob Dylan's handwritten lyrics for the times they are a-changing from 1964. The rare page of working handwritten lyrics by Bob Dylan. Let's start, shall we please, with bids on my book already at $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 already here at $400,000, at $400,000, at $400,000. Anywhere else at $400,000, $420,000, $450,000, at $450,000. With the absentee bidder right here at $450,000. Anywhere else, $450,000, $480,000. Thank you. At $480,000. I'm out. That's the good news. $450,000. 80 is yours, Maria. At $480. Who wants 500? At $480. 500 is bid. At 5. At 500. 550,000 is bid. Maria, your bid at 550. At 550,000. 600,000. At 6. 600,000 is the bid. 650,000, thank you. At 650,000. At 650. 700 is bid. At 7. Do you want 750? 700,000 online. 750 is yours. Back to Maria Loss at 750,000. Right here at 750. Online takes it away at 8. At 800. 850 is bid. At 850,000. At 850,000. 9 in a new place with Bonnie Brennan at 900,000. 3 of you now battling it out. 900 it is with Bonnie Brennan at 900,000. Maria, what are we doing? At $900,000. 900 it is. Bonnie's telephone at 900,000. Last chance to you. Anywhere else in the room? Online, fair warning at $900,000. Bonnie has the bid and selling for $900,000. $950,000 in a new place. Sarah, $1 million is bid at $1 million. 1-1? 1,000,001. At 1-1. 1,200,000 is bid at 1,200,000. 1,300,000. 1,400,000. At 1,400,000. 1,500,000. Sarah Coleman's bid at 1,500,000. Against you, Bonnie. 1.6 could be yours if you'd like it. At 1,500,000. Should we bid 1.6? Yes. At 1,000,005. At 1,000,005. Still with Sarah Coleman against you at 1,000,005. Pardon? 1,550,000, absolutely. At 1,550,000. 1.6 is bid. At 1,600,000. 1,700,000. At 1,700,000. 1,800,000. Peter, I hear your dulcet tones. Let me know if you're coming in. 1,800,000. Here at 1,800,000. Bonnie, at 1,800,000. At 1,800,000. At $1,800,000. Sarah's bid still at 1,800,000. 1,850,000. At 1,850,000. 1.9 is next. Even better. 2 million. At $2 million. Looks like that did it. At $2 million. Bonnie is shaking her head. $2 million it is. Sarah, your bid. Anywhere else on this side? $2 million is the bid and selling for $2 million. Sarah, it is coming to you at $2 million. Well done, at $2 million, sold. Right. This is now lot 20. This is Janis Joplin's stage-played Gibson acoustic guitar used to perform her #1 hit, Me and Bobby McGee. Gibson Incorporated, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 1953. Carrie Keene, I understand this might be one of your favorites. Not just because you have a crush on Janis Joplin. Lot number 20, let's begin, shall we please? At $40,000 already for this, at $40,000, $42,000, at $45,000, at $45,000, $48,000 online, thank you, at $48,000, $50,000 is against you, at $50,000, at $55,000, Nevada has it, at $55,000, at $55,000, right here at $55,000, at $55,000. Online has this at $55,000, $60,000, $65,000. Welcome, sir, at $65,000. I saw in the room here first at $65,000. $70,000. Do you want $75,000? $75,000 is yours at $75,000. In the room at $75,000, $80,000. $5,000. At $85,000 online now at $85,000. Do you want $90,000, sir? $90,000 is your bid ahead of the online bidder. Back in the room at $90,000. $95,000 online if you'd like that. At $90,000 is in the room, $95,000 is there. Sir, should we round it up? It's at $95,000. You $100,000 could be yours. At $95,000. At $95,000, $100,000. At $120,000. On the telephone at $120,000 against both of you here. Don't distract him, he's bidding. At $130,000, at $130,000. Sir, I'm looking right at you this time. $140,000 is yours at $140,000. Maria, do you want $150,000? $150,000 online at $150,000. Several of you right here at $150,000. Online bidder has it at $150,000. $160,000 at $160,000. $170,000. Thank you. Liz Siegel's bid at $170,000. At $170,000. At $170,000. $180,000 online. $180,000 has it. $190,000. At $190,000. Liz, your bid at $190,000. Against several of you here in the room, fair warning, Maria, $200,000. Sarah Altamer joins the bidding at $200,000. At $200,000. $220,000. $240,000. At $200,000. $220,000, in fact, at $220,000. Would you like $240,000, Sarah? It's at $220,000. at $220,000. Liz Siegel has the bid, 240 could be yours. Looking back at you, sir, just in case, $220,000 is the bid. 230,000. Liz, 240? Yes? At 230,000. Sarah L. Tamer's bid, 240 against you, Sarah. Liz is back at 240. At 240. Thank you for your bids. $240,000 is here. At $240,000. Anywhere else? 240 it is. Liz Siegel has the bid at 240,000. 250,000 in a new place with Rachel White Young at 250,000. 260,000. At 260. Rachel. 260 is the bid. At 260,000. Would you like 270? 260 it is. 270,000. At 270,000. At 280. At 280. Back with Liz Siegel at 280,000. Would you like 290? Or you could give me 3. It's at 280 here. At $280,000. Liz's bid and selling at $280,000. Last chance, Rachel, at $280,000 on this side and selling at $280,000. Rachel, 280 it is, 290 it is at 290. Liz, at 290. Do you want 3? $290,000 on this side. I'd prefer not to give you as long. At $290,000 on this side. 300 is bid. At 3. Liz's bid at 300,000. At 3. At $300,000. It is Liz's bid, fair warning to you, at $300,000, selling here for $300,000. Last chance at 300, selling with Liz at $300,000. 300 and selling for 300,000. 1861, well done. Lot number 21. This is John Coltrane. This is the prototype Yamaha alto sax. This was gifted to Coltrane by Yamaha in Japan in his dressing room on July 21st, 1966. I have plenty of bids already on the book with absentee bidders, and I have to start at $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 already at $80,000, at $80,000. At 80,000, at 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 is right here. At 100, 110,000, 120,000. At 120,000. Would you like 130? 130,000 is with you. 150,000 is with me. At 150,000, would you like 160? 150,000 is here. 160 is against you. I appreciate the bids, madam. Thank you. 160,000 is here. Laura's bid at 160. At 160. Against all the bidders online, 170,000 is with Liz at 170, 180,000 at 180. Would you like 190? At 180. It is on this side, Laura's bid at 180. At $180,000, 190,000. Against the online bidder, 190 is already here. Liz Siegel's bid at 190, $200,000 with Laura at 200. At 200,000. Any more? 200,000 is here. Liz shakes her head. Thank you. $200,000 is here and selling for 220 online at 220. Laura, what are we doing? $220,000 is online. 230, I will. Would you like 240 online? At 220 in the room. Here at 230, 240 is bid. At 240. 250 is bid. At 250. Would you like 260? 250 is with Laura at $250,000. 260,000. At 260. 270. We're inching more at 270,000. Would you like 280? It's 270 on the telephone. 280 is yours at 280,000. At 280,000. At 280,000. 290? Perfect. $300,000 is bid. At 300,000. 320 if you'd like it online. It's 300 now. Laura's bid at 300. I'd love 320 at $300,000. Laura's bid at 300. Anywhere else in the room, 300 it is, and selling. Laura's bid at $300,000. Last chance online. Ooh, 320. At 320. 320 it is. Laura, 320. Pardon? 330,000. Would you like 340? 330 is the bid. At 330,000. Back on the telephone with Laura, 340,000. At 340. 50? At 340,000. You sure yes, or you sure? At 340,000. Online has the bid, 340,000, and here selling for $340,000. Thank you for your bids. Online, you have it at $340,000. Last chance at 340. Sold, 340,000. Paddle 3039. Lot number 22. This is Jim Morrison's Electro Voice microphone, used on stage by Jim Morrison and the Doors extensively from February 1968 to December 1970, and by Val Kilmer during the filming of Oliver Stone's movie released in 1991. Let's start, shall we please, at $10,000 only for this, at $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000, $14,000, at $14,000. Still against you here at $14,000. Do you want 15? 15 is yours at $15,000. In the room now at $15,000. It is here at $15,000. Anywhere else? $16,000. Thank you for your bids. $17,000 online at 17. At 17. $18,000. Peter, 18 is here at $18,000. Pardon? 20,000 is bid with Rachel at 20. 22,000. 24,000 in the room at 24. At 24. 26. Would you like 28, sir? At 26. You've said that once before. I had to check. 26 is here. 28,000. Thank you. Laura's bid at 28. 30,000 is bid at 30. At 30,000. 32,000, 35 even better, at 35. 38? 38 is bid. 40,000, at 40,000. Three of you here on the lot, 40,000 is the bid. 42, Peter, well done, at 42. At 42, 45 ahead of you online. I took Laura's bid at 45,000. At 45, still here at 45, 48,000, at 48. Rachel's bid at 48. Who would like 50? 50. Laura's bid at 50. At 50,000. 55? 50,000 is the bid. At 50,000. Laura, your bid at 50,000. Anywhere else, I can sell it for 50,000. Oh, I like 55 better than 52. At 55. At 55. I mean, wouldn't you? Come on. 60,000 with Rachel at 60,000. Rachel's bid at 60. What do I hear? At 60 here. 62,000. At 62. 65 is with Liz at 65. Who would like 70? 70 is bid. At 70. I'd like 5. 70 is here. 75. How about 80? 80. 5 or 90? At 80? 85 is here. At 85, would you like to give me 90? That's a yes. It's 85 on this side. Liz has the bid. At 85 and selling, it's at 85 against both of you on this side. Liz has the bid at 85 and selling. Oh, 90,000. At 90. 95? At 90,000. On the side at 90, Liz, 90 it is. 95. At 95. Who's going to round it up to 100,000? At $95,000. Shakes her head. You are saying no. 95 it is with Liz. Fair warning, Rachel, at $95,000. Last chance at $95,000. Her paddle's up. She's ready. And selling to you, Liz, for $95,000. Sold. 95. 1861. 1861. Lot number 23 is next. This is an important handwritten notebook from 1969 by Jim Morrison, The Doors, containing 103 handwritten pages of writing in Jim Morrison's hand. I can start the bidding already with absentee bid interest at $80, $90, $100,000 with me on the book here at 100. At $100,000. $100,000 is right here with me. Absentee bidder has it at 100. I can sell at $100,000. Anywhere else at 100, 110 in the UK. Good night to you. 110,000 is here. 120,000. Online has it elsewhere at 120. My absentee bidder is out. 120 it is online at 120. 130,000. Bonnie's bid at 130. Would you like 140? 130 is online. Is on the telephone with Bonnie at 130,000. 140 is next, if you'd like it. 130 it is. Bonnie's bid at $130,000. Anywhere else in the room at 130. Welcome, sir. 140,000 is yours. 150 is against you. Do you want 160? At 150,000 against you. 160,000. $175,000 is bid. You sure? Thank you for your bids. $175,000 is the bid. Bonnie has this at $175,000. It is here, Bonnie's telephone, and selling for $175,000. Last chance at $175,000. Oh, that was close. $180,000 is your bid. Amelia, well done. $185,000. Sir, you've said that twice. $185,000 is the bid. It is still here with Bonnie. Last chance. It is yours, Bonnie, and selling for $185,000. Last chance and selling for $185,000. Oh, on the hammer! Oh my gosh. Rachel, 190 is yours. At 190,000. 192,000 is with Bonnie. Rachel, at the halfway point, it's like the seventh inning stretch. At $192,000. At 192. 195? You can't stop now. At 192,000, 195,000. At 200,000 is bid. At 200,000. At $200,000. Bonnie's bid at $200,000. She has been quite patient. At $200,000. 205,000. At 205,000. 210,000. At 210. It's at $210,000. Right here. You are sure this time. Keep your hands down if you are sure. $210,000, last chance. Sir, 210 is here and selling for $210,000. Sold, 210,000, 1873. Right. Lot 24. Ladies and gentlemen, David Gilmour's The Black Strat. Acquired directly from the David Gilmore auction in this very room in June of 2019. We started it at $300,000 then, and I am going to start it at $1 million now. At $1 million, $1,100,000. At $1,100,000, $1,200,000. At $1,200,000, $1,300,000. At $1,300,000. Zeta Gibson has the bid at $1,300,000. Right here at $1,300,000. At $1,300,000, $1,400,000. At $1,400,000. At $1,500,000 against you both at $1,500,000. Against you online at $1,500,000. $1,600,000, thank you. Natalie's bid at $1,600,000. It's now at $1,600,000. At $1,600,000. $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. $1,800,000. Ahead of you online, it's here in the room at $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. $1,900,000. Zeta Gibson's bid at $1,900,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million. Natalie's bid at $2 million. At $2 million. At $2 million. Natalie, it is your bid at $2 million. Against you online, and Zeta, fair warning, at $2 million. $2,200,000 in a new place. At $2,200,000. Amelia's bid at $2,200,000. $2,400,000. All three of you right beside each other. $2,400,000. $2,600,000 is bid at $2,600,000. Amelia's bid at $2,600,000. At $2,600,000. Amelia Walker's bid at $2,600,000. $2,800,000. Online. Bidder in France at $2,800,000. $3 million, Amelia, I saw you first, at $3 million. Here at $3 million. Online and 3 telephones. Online, fair warning, $3 million is here. Amelia's bid at $3 million. At $3 million. Amelia, it is your bid at $3 million. At 3. At $3 million. $3,200,000. $3 million here, $3,500,000. Amelia's bid at $3,500,000. At $3,500,000. Amelia's bid at $3,500,000. $3,600,000 is online at $3,600,000. Online has the bid at $3,600,000. $3,700,000. At $3,700,000. $3,800,000 against the online, with the online bidder. Yes, $3,900,000. $4 million is bid. Online has this at $4 million. $4,100,000 with Amelia. $4,200,000. $4,300,000. At $4,300,000. $4,400,000. Welcome back online. At $4,400,000. $4,500,000. At $4,500,000. Amelia's bid at Looking to the online bidder, I have 3 other telephones here. $4,500,000 is the bid. Amelia, it is your bid at $4,500,000. Anywhere else at $4,500,000. Amelia, it is your bid at $4,500,000. Any more? Online, fair warning, it is now Amelia's bid at $4,500,000, $4,600,000. At $4,600,000. $4,700,000. Back with Amelia Walker at $4,700,000. Who would like 4,800,000? At $4,700,000. It is your bid at $4,600,000. Here at $4,600,000 with Amelia. Sorry, $4,700,000 is yours, I should say. $4,700,000, Amelia, at $4,700,000. Anywhere else at $4,700,000. Online, $4,800,000. At $4,800,000. $5,000,000 is bid. At $5 million for the black Strat at $5 million. Online, would you like 5,200,000? $5 million is here. The bid is with Amelia on the telephone at $5 million. $5,100,000. $5,200,000. At $5,200,000. 5,300,000. $5,200,000 is here. I'll take 5,300,000. At $5,200,000. With Amelia, 5,300,000 is against you. Online came back, 5,300,000. 5,400,000. At 5,400,000. In the room here at $5,400,000. Amelia, it is your bid. Any more? 5,500,000. $5,600,000. At $5,600,000. Amelia Walker's bid, $5,600,000. $5,700,000 could be yours online. Natalie, Zeta, $5,600,000 is the bid. $5,700,000. Online has it at $5,700,000. At $5,700,000. 5,800,000. At $5,700,000 is here. 5,800,000. At $5,800,000. At $5,800,000. Right here. At $5,800,000. $5,900,000. $6 million is bid. At $6 million. $6,100,000 straight away at $6,100,000. $6,200,000. At $6,200,000. 6,300,000 would be next and is bid. At $6,300,000. 6,400,000. At $6,400,000. 6,500,000. 6,600,000. At $6,600,000. 6,700,000 is bid. At $6,700,000. 6,800,000. At $6,800,000. Online, do you want $6,900,000? 6,900,000 is here. 7. At $6,900,000. The online bidder has it. $7 million takes it away. At $7 million. Amelia Walker's telephone, $7 million is bid. Online, come back to us. $7 million is here at $7 million. 7,100,000. At 7,000,001. 7,200,000. At 7.2. At $7,200,000. 7.3 is next and is bid. At 7.3. Amelia, do you want 7.4? You do. At $7,000,004. 7,000,005 straight away. At 7.5. 7.6. At 7.6. 7.7. 7.8. At 7,000,008. 7,000,009. 8 million is bid. At 8 million. 8,100,000. At 8,000,001. 8,200,000. At 8,000,002. 8,200,000. 8,300,000 in a new place. At 8,003,000. 8,400,000. At 8,004,000. At $8,400,000. 8,500,000. At 8,500,000. 2 online bidders against you, Amelia. Do you want to give me 8.6? It is at $8,500,000. 8,600,000. At 8,600,000. At $8,600,000. On the telephone. 8,700,000. $8,800,000. At 8,800,000. 8,900,000. At 8,900,000. 9 million is bid. 9,100,000. At 9,001,000. 2. 9,200,000. 9,300,000 without hesitation. At 9,003,000. 9,400,000. At 9.4. At $9,400,000. 9,500,000 for the black Strat. At 9,500,000. At 9,500,000. 9.6 is next. At $9,500,000. 9,600,000. 9,700,000. Again, no hesitation. 9,800,000. 9,900,000. At 9,009,000. $10 million. $10,100,000. At $10,100,000. at $10,100,000. At $10,000,001, $10,200,000, $10,300,000. At $10,000,003. Still with the online bidder against Amelia Walker. At $10,300,000, $10,400,000, $10,500,000. At $10,005,000. At $10,005,000. Here at $10,500,000, Amelia. Do you want 10,600,000? At 10,500,000. $10,500,000. At 10,500,000. Still Christie's live bidder at $10,500,000. $10,600,000. $10,700,000. At $10,700,000. $10,700,000 is the bid. At $10,700,000. $10,800,000. $10,900,000. This is another turning point, Amelia. $11,000,000 is bid. At $11,000,000. $11,100,000. $11,001,000. Still against you. At $11,100,000. They're not giving up quite yet. At $11,100,000. The online bidder has this on Christie's Live at $11,100,000. At $11,100,000. Deep breath. $11,100,000 is the Christie's Live bidder. Amelia, what are we doing? At $11,001,000, it is still on Christie's Live. The bid is here at $11,001,000. $11,001,000, $11,200,000. $11,300,000. $11,300,000. 4. At $11,300,000. Online bidder has it. $11,300,000. Not yours yet. $11,300,000. 11,400,000 is next. It is $11,400,000. $11,400,000 is now with Amelia's telephone. Online, $11,500,000 if you'd like it. It's here at $11,400,000. $11,400,000 is the bid. It is with Amelia and selling. $11,500,000 is against you. $11,500,000. At $11,500,000. Online has the bid, 11,500,000, 11,600,000. At 11,600,000, 11,700,000 if you'd like it. 11,600,000 is here. 11,700,000. 11,700,000. $11,700,000. 11,800,000 would be yours next. It is with the online bidder at 11,700,000. At 11,700,000. 11,800,000. 11,900,000. Are we rounding it up? 11,900,000. 12 million is bid. At 12 million. At $12 million. At 12 million. Online, this is your moment. At $12 million. 12,100,000. At 12,100,000. At 12,100,000. At $12,100,000. 12,200,000. 12,100,000. Online has it at $12,100,000. Christie's live bidder, $12,100,000. It is still here at $12,100,000. Online has it, Amelia, yes or no, at $12,100,000. At $12,100,000. $12,100,000. Thank you for your bids. I have to check with you one last time. At $12,100,000, the Black Strat is selling to our online bidder at $12,100,000. Last chance, and selling for $12,100,000. This is now your moment at $12,100,000. Sold at $12,100,000. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Great. Thanks. Lot number 25 is next. Lot number 25. This is David Gilmour's Wish You Were Here, Martin D35. Let's start the bidding on this, please. At $500,000 to start at $500,000, $550,000, $600,000, $650,000, $700,000. At $700,000. At $700,000, $750,000, Oh Canada. At $750,000, $800,000, Zeta Gibson. At $800,000. Any more? At $800,000. Right here at $800,000. Zeta Gibson's bid at $800,000 against our Canadian bidder at $800,000. On the telephone now with Zeta's bidder. Anywhere else in the room at $800,000. At $800,000. Wish you were here. Martin D35, $800,000 here and selling. $850,000. $900,000. Amelia Walker's back at $950,000. At $950,000. At $950,000. Online has the bid against 3 telephones I see on this side at $950,000. Do you want $1 million? At $950,000. You're both being too polite, yes or no? At $950,000. $1 million is bid. At $1 million. $1,100,000. At $1,100,000. At $1,100,000. $1,200,000. $1,300,000. At $1,300,000. Amelia and Zeta, It is against you both at 1,300,000 with the online bidder. 1,400,000 at 1.4. 1,000,005. Online has it at 1.5. 1.6. 1.5 is here at $1,500,000. Online has it at 1,000,005. Here at $1,500,000. Anywhere else at 1,000,005. Amelia, 1.6. Against the online bidder, I'm going to sell it at $1,500,000. It is here and selling. Online has it at $1,500,000. My gavel is up at 1,000,005. 1,000,006 in a new place online. 1,700,000 competing online bids at 1,000,007. At 1.7. Who would like 1.8 at 1,700,000? 3084. It is your bid at 1,000,007. At 1.7. 1,800,000 competing online this time, not on the telephone. 1,900,000 online at 1,000,009. Who would like 2? At 1.9. Your bid at $1,900,000. Online has it. It is here and selling at $1,900,000. Anywhere else in the room, 1,000,009, selling here for $1,900,000. Sold, 1,900,000. 3084. Lot number 26. This is Sir Elton John's performance concert grand piano, showing so beautifully downstairs. $300,000 to start for this at $300,000, at $300,000, $320,000, $350,000, at $350,000, $380,000, at $380,000, at $380,000. Who would like 4? At $380,000. At $380,000. 4 is next. At $380,000. At $380,000. Still holding here at $380,000. Anywhere else in the room here? $380,000. Looking to you, Rachel, $380,000. Fair warning at $380,000. Anywhere else? At $380,000. At $380,000. Rachel, 4. At $380,000. At $380,000. Still here, $400,000 is bid. Bonnie Brennan's bid at $400,000. Now at $400,000. $420,000, Rachel, if you'd like it. $400,000 is the bid. Bonnie's bid at $400,000. It is here and selling to Bonnie's bid at $400,000. Last chance and selling for $400,000. Bonnie, your bid at $400,000. Sold, 1873 for $400,000. Lot number 27 is next. Lot number 27. Lot number 27, this is Jerry Garcia's most significant performance guitar, known as Tiger. I have plenty of bids on my book. I have telephones that are raring to go. Let's start, shall we please? I have bids on my book already at $1 million, $1,100,000, $1,200,000, still with me here at $1,200,000, $1,300,000, $1,400,000, still with me at $1,400,000, at $1,400,000, $1,500,000, $1,600,000. What would you like? $1,600,000 is here at $1,600,000. $1,700,000, $1,800,000. I heard $1,900,000. $2 million is with me at $2 million. At $2 million. Still with me against you, Libya, at $2 million. $2,200,000, Natalie. $2,400,000 with me at $2,400,000. Still with competing bids on my book at $2,400,000. At $2,400,000. $2,600,000, thank you. Alex Hemingway's bid at $2,600,000. $2,800,000. At $2,800,000. My bid at $2,800,000. at $2,800,000. Any more? At $2,800,000. $3 million, thank you, at $3 million. At $3 million. $3,200,000. $3,500,000. I have 3.5. I'm looking for 3.8. I have, pardon? I have 4 million, sir. 4,500,000 is your bid at 4,500,000. My bidders are now out. $4,500,000 is your bid, sir, in the room at 4,500,000. At $4,500,000 straight away. Gentleman's bid in the room at $4,500,000. Any more? 4,800,000. 5 million. 5. Nice, sir. Nice. You have it at 5 million. 5,200,000. 5.5. 5,500,000. At 5,500,000. 5,800,000. 6 million is bid. At 6 million. In the center of the room at $6 million. Again, several telephones I can see. At $6 million. Still in a room at 6 million. The bid is right here at 6 million. Anywhere else? At $6 million. Gentleman's bid at 6 million. It is here at 6 million. 6,200,000. 6,500,000. At 6,500,000. 6,800,000. 7 million is bid. At 7 million. 7,200,000. 7,500,000. At 7,500,000. Straight away at 7.5. At 7,500,000. In the room, 7,800,000. 8 million is your bid. At 8 million. In the room at 8 million. At $8 million. 8,200,000. 8,500,000. At 8,500,000. 8.8. $8,500,000 is the bid. In the center of the room at 8,500,000. Gentleman's bid. 8,700,000 against you, sir. 9 million is your bid. At 9. 9 million is bid. 2. 9 million is in the room at 9 million. Gentleman's bid at 9 million. $9 million is your bid. Anywhere else on the telephones, it is here at 9 million in the center of the room. Any other telephones? Alex, looking at you. Zeta, Amelia, Alex, 9,200,000. 9,500,000. At 9.5. At 9,500,000. I'm not going to say you said that twice, but you have said that twice. At 9.5. Your bid, sir. At $9,500,000. It is $9,500,000. Anywhere else at $9,500,000. The bid is in the room at $9,500,000 and selling. Your bid at $9,500,000. Last chance, Alex. Everywhere else, $9,500,000. It is yours at $9,500,000. Jerry Garcia's Tiger going to you, sir, for $9,500,000. Sold at Oh my God. Oh, that was fabulous. Oh, that was fabulous. Battle 115, sir, congratulations. Wow. I hope we have a couple of other deadheads in the room. Lot number 28 is next. Have a drink, sir. Oh, I can say that's the first time that's ever happened in my sale room. Okay, well, lot number 28 is next. This is the Grateful Dead's Macintosh amplifier, simply known as the Budman. Let's start the begin on this, shall we please, at $100,000, at $100,000, $110,000, $120,000. Still here with me at $120,000, $130,000. The amplifier here at $130,000. Anywhere else at $130,000. Anywhere else here in the room at $130,000. Sir, don't you want this? I mean, really? $130,000? You tell me. I think the answer is yes. Yes. 130,000, 140 is against you online. 150,000. At 150,000 in the room. Celebrations are already starting. At 150,000 against you online. 160 could be yours, but it's in the room at $150,000. At $150,000 in the room and selling. 160 against you. 170 is bid. At 170,000. 170. Back in the room, would you like 180 online? 170 is here. In the room at $170,000. 180. 190 is bid. Online, do you want to round it up to 200? It is in the room at $190,000. In the room and selling, $190,000. Anywhere else bidding at $190,000. Sir, guess what? 200 is against you. 210 is yours. At 210. 220 if you'd like it online. 210 is here. At 210. At $210,000. Still in the room at 210. Online, fair warning, 210 is here and selling for $210,000. In the room, 210, 220, 230. At 230, fair warning, I'm going to sell it this time at $230,000. Last chance, 240, 250. 250 is bid. At 250,000. Here and selling at 250,000. Last chance, fair warning, at 250, 260, 270. At 270,000. Do you want 280? Online, say yes or no. 270 is here. At 280. 300 is bid. Wise move, sir. 300 is here. At $300,000. 320 if you'd like it online. It's here at 300. Last chance and selling at $300,000. Fair warning. At 300. Sold at $300,000. Battle 115. Well done. Lot number 29 is next. This is the Miles Davis custom-made trumpet from circa 1980. Stage played, performance instrument. Let's start the bidding, please. Interest already at 150, 160, 170, 180. At $180,000. Still here with me at 180,000. Anywhere else? At $180,000. 190, 200. At 200. At 200,000, 220, 250 is with me. At 250,000. Do you want 280? 250 is my bid. 280, 300 is mine. At 300,000. 320, Nick Finch bids. 350 with me. 380 with you. 400 with me. At $400,000. At 400,000. Still here with me against Nick Finch. 420 is yours. At 420 against the online bidder, I'm out. Nick's out. At 420,000. Laura, your bid, $420,000. Anywhere else? At 450. 450, 480. At 480,000. Back in the room at 480. 5 if you'd like it online. There it is. At 5 against both of you. I need 50. 500 is bid. 550, thank you. At 550. 550, 600 is bid. At 6. 600,000. 650,000. At 650,000. At 650. 700. Sophie, 8. At 700. 800. 750 is bid. 800 is bid. At 8. 800. Online bidder has it at 800 against both of you this time. $800,000 is the bid and selling for $800,000. At 800,000, can I have 850? 800 is here. There's 3 of you still in the lot. 800 is here. 850 is bid. 9 if you'd like it. 850 is here. At 800, 900. At 9. 950? Laura, would you like 950? 900 is 920. I'll take this time. At 920, 950 is next online. At 920 against you. 950 is bid. At $950,000. Do you want 980? At 950. Now it's just the 2 of you. 980, huh? 990,000 is bid. Just shy, online, $1 million is bid. At 1 million. 1,100,000. At 1,000,001. Do you want 1.2 online? It's 1,000,001 here. 1,000,002. 1.3 is next. 1,200,000 is bid. At 1,000,002. Thank you for your bids, Laura. 1,000,002 is with the online bidder. 1,250,000. 1.3. 1,250,000. 1,000,003. Online has it at 1,000,003. Thank you for your bids. 1,000,003 is looking very, very promising for you online. It is here and selling. 1,000,003. Anywhere else at $1,300,000. Sold. 1,300,000. Paddle 3039. Lot number 30. This time, this is the Edge. This is a Gibson Explorer. Used as a backup during the Joshua Tree tour, purchased by the Edge in the late 1980s and used, as I said, on the Joshua Tree tour in 1987 and later. Let's start, shall we please, at $100,000 for this, at $100,000. At $100,000, $110,000, $120,000, $130,000, $140,000, $150,000, $160,000, $170,000. Your bid at $170,000, $180,000 in France. They're back, $190,000 at $190,000. $200,000 is bid at $220,000. All competing bids are Christie's Live at $220,000. Looking for $240,000 at $220,000. It is here, $31.70. It is your bid. $250,000 takes it away at $250,000. Liz's bid at $250,000, $280,000 against you. Do you want 3? $300,000 is bid at $280,000. $300,000 is bid. $320,000 is now bid online. All the bids are on Christie's Live at $320,000. At $320,000. Would you like $350,000? Liz, $350,000 is yours. At $380,000. Now at $380,000. Should we round it up? $400,000 is yours. At $400,000. Liz Siegel's bid at $400,000, $420,000. At $420,000. At $450,000. At $480,000. At $480,000. Yes, 500 is bid. Liz's bid at 500. At $500,000. At $500,000. Liz, your bid at $500,000 against the online bidder is still here and selling for $500,000. Last chance, and selling for $500,000. Liz, well done, 1881. Right. So, lot number 31 is next. This is the Smells Like Teen Spirit Fender Mustang from Kurt Cobain's fabulous album and video from Nirvana's 1991 single. Where should we start? Let's start, shall we please, at $1,500,000 for this. At $1,500,000. At $1,500,000. At $1,500,000, $1,600,000, $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. Come back to me online at $1,800,000. At $1,700,000. $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. $1,900,000. At $1,900,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million. At $2 million. $2,200,000. Amelia Walker's bid at $2,200,000. At $2,200,000. Any more? At $2,200,000. At $2,200,000. Amelia, this is your bid at $2,200,000. Anywhere else on the telephones here? $2,200,000 it is. Amelia's bid at $2,200,000. Fair warning, and selling for $2,200,000, $2,400,000, $2,600,000, $2,800,000. $3 million is bid at $3 million. Back on the telephone with Amelia Walker's bidder at $3 million. Online, do you want 3-2? $3 million is here at $3 million. $3 million is bid against the telephones on this side at $3 million. Fair warning, at $3 million, it is selling. Amelia, your bid, 3-2 in time. At 3-2. $3,500,000. At $3,500,000. 3-8 is next. At $3,500,000. Still on the telephone at $3,500,000. 3-8 if you'd like it. At $3,500,000. Amelia, it is your bid at $3,500,000. Anywhere else in the room on this side, $3,500,000. It is here and selling for $3,500,000, $3,800,000. At $3,800,000. Amelia, we've been here once before. $4 million is bid at $4 million. $4,100,000. We've still with you, Amelia, at 400. $4 million. Still with you, a million, at $4 million. Looking to the online bidder, 4-2 if you'd like it. $4 million is here. At $4 million. Amelia, this is still your bid. Online, 4-2 if you'd like it. $4 million is here. Online, do you want 4-1? $4 million, $4,100,000. $4,200,000. $4,300,000. At $4,300,000. $4,400,000. $4,500,000. At $4,500,000. Still with the online bidder at $4,500,000. Christie's Live has this at $4,500,000. It is here at $4,500,000. Online bidder has it at $4,500,000. Last chance, $4,600,000. At $4,600,000. At $4,600,000. Online, do you want $4,700,000? $4,600,000 is the bid. Amelia's bid at $4,600,000. Not yours at the moment. Could be, but $4,600,000 and selling for $4,600,000. Last chance, $4,700,000. At $4,700,000. $4,800,000. At $4,800,000. At $4,800,000. Kurt Cobain's guitar, $4,800,000. It is here on the telephone with you, Amelia. Last chance online and selling for $9,000,000. $5,000,000 is bid. At $5,000,000. We're not even done yet. I know, it's great. At $5,000,000. Any more? 5 is bid. Imagine what they're going to do when we win. $5,100,000. $5,200,000. Waiting with bated breath online. $5,200,000 is the bid. You've got a room cheering both of you on. $5,200,000 is the bid. Would you like $5,300,000? Currently at $5,200,000. Still with Amelia. Still here at $5,200,000. At $5,300,000. $5,400,000. At $5,400,000. $5,500,000. $5,400,000. Still with Amelia at $5,400,000. At $5,400,000. Anywhere else in the room here? $5,400,000 and selling. Amelia, it is looking promising for you at $5,400,000. Selling. Last chance at $5,500,000. At $5,500,000. $5,500,000. Ay, ay, ay. At $5,500,000. $5,600,000. At $5,600,000. Right here. At $5,600,000. Bless you. $5,600,000 is the bid. $5,700,000 if you'd like it online. It's $5,600,000 here. Still with Amelia at $5,600,000. Last chance at $5,600,000. Everywhere else, $5,600,000 is the bid and selling for $5,600,000. Sold for $5,600,000. $18.49. Right. Lot number 32 is next. This is Eric Clapton's 1939 Martin, known as the unplugged guitar. Lot number 32. Let's start, shall we? At $500,000 for this, please. At $500,000, $550,000, $600,000. At $600,000. $650,000, sir? $650,000 online. At $650,000. $700,000. At $700,000 against you both. At $700,000. Thank you for your bid, sir. At $700,000. At $700,000. Any more? At $700,000. Do you want 20, sir? at 700,000, 750,000. I've taken the bid in the room at 750,000. Sarah's bid at 750. Do you want 8? 750 is bid. Right here at 750. 750,000, Sarah's bid, 800. 800. Christie's live, 850 on the telephone, 9 if you'd like it online. 850 is in the room on the telephone here at Christie's at 900 and 850,000. 900,000 in a new place. This time, Maria lost his bid at 900, 950,000. Maria, do you want to round it up? At $950,000. Do you want 1 million? 1 million is bid at $1 million. 1,100,000 at 1-1. At $1,100,000. 1,200,000. At this point, why not? At 1,250,000. 1,300,000. Maria's bid at 1,300,000. At 1.3. 1,400,000. 1.5. 1,500,000. At 1,500,000. Do you want 1.6? At $1,500,000. Still here, Maria's bid at $1,500,000. Sarah, 1.6, yes or no? At 1,500,000. Thank you for your bids. $1,500,000. Maria, your bid and selling for $1,600,000. Online has it at $1,600,000. At $1,600,000. Do you want 1.7? 1.7 is bid. Come back to me. 1.8 straight away at 1,800,000. At 1,800,000. 1,900,000. 2 million is bid. At 2. At $2 million. At 2. 2,200,000. At 2,200,000. 2,400,000. At 2,400,000. At $2,400,000. 2,500,000. Should we go on? At $2,500,000. 2,600,000. To 7. To 8. At 2.8. 2,900,000. At 2,900,000. Online, are we going to round it up? At $2,900,000. For the unplugged, at $2,900,000. 3 million is bid. At 3. 3,100,000. At 3.1. 3.2. 3,200,000 is bid. At 3.2. 3,300,000. Clapton's unplugged, 3,300,000. Online, do you want 3.4? $3,300,000 is still with Maria at $3,300,000. It is here and selling in the room at $3,300,000. Last chance and selling, fair warning to you online, at $3,300,000. Maria, your bid at $3,300,000. Sold at $3,300,000. Lot number 33 is next. This is the Prince's Sexy Custom Yellow Cloud. I have interest on the book, and I can begin at $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. Already here at $110,000. 110 is already here with me. 120 if you'd like it online. There you are at 120. At 120,000. Anywhere else at 130,000. Thank you, Zeta. 140,000. You moved. 140,000, 150,000, 160,000. At 160,000. 170, 170,000 is bid. 180,000 straight away. At 180. 190, 190 is there. At 190,000. 200,000 is bid. At 200,000. 220,000. At 220 this time. This is the Sexy Custom Yellow Cloud. 240,000. At 240. 260,000. At 260. 280. 280 is bid. Would you like 300? 300 is bid. 320 in a new place on Christie's Live. Against both of you on either side, 320 is the bid. Online, 350,000. At 350. Anywhere else? At 380,000. Liz Siegel's bid at 380. At 380,000. Thank you. 400 is bid. At 400,000. At 400. At $400,000. Zeta's bid at 420 takes it away. Zeta, do you want 450? At 420 is bid. Still on this side with Liz, 450. Let's try 480. At 450,000. 480 is bid. At 480. 480,000. 500,000 is bid. At 500. Liz, I'll take 550, I'll take 6, I'll take anything you want to give me. You're shaking your heads. $500,000. Zeta, your bid at $500,000. Last chance and selling for $500,000. Sold at $500,000. 1827. Lot number 34 is next. This is James Brown's Godfather of Soul stage cape. It was worn on stage by James Brown in the 1990s and the 2000s, and indeed draped on over his casket during his funeral at the James Brown Arena in Augusta, Georgia on December 30th, 2006. Let's start the bidding on this, please. I have interest already at $30,000, right here with me at $30,000, at $30,000, at $30,000, all the way here at 32, 35, at 38, 40,000, at 40,000, already here with me at 40, 42,000, 45,000, at 45, 48,000 online, 50,000 is with me at 50,000, 55, 60,000, 65,000, 70,000, 75,000, 80,000, 85,000, 90,000, 95,000, 100,000, at $100,000, right here at 100,000, at $100,000. Bonnie, at 100,000, 110,000, at 110. Online has it at $110,000. I'm out. My bidder is out. It is online at $110,000. Any more? 110 it is, and selling. Online has it at $110,000. $115,000. $115,000. At $150,000. With Bonnie Brennan at $115,000. $120,000. At $120,000. Bonnie? At $120,000. Online bidder has it at $120,000. Thank you for your bids. Maria, Bonnie, everyone, thank you. $120,000. Last chance at $120,000. Sold online, $31.43, $120,000. Lot number 35. This is the Rocky Sylvester Stallone's handwritten script from 1976. I have 100,000, 110, 120, 130,000, 140,000 indeed at $140,000. 150 is online at $150,000. Any more at $150,000. 160 at 160. 160,000. Both bids on Christie's Live. 170. Thank you. 170,000. Any more at 170,000. Christina Geiger's bid. 180,000 at 180. Do you want 190? 180 is against you. 190 is yours at 190,000. 200,000 at 2. At 220,000, just ahead of you. At 220. Christina Geiger's bid against you, Rachel, at 220. 240. At 240. At 240. Thank you for your bids. 240 is still here with Rachel. 260 online. At 260. Do you want 280? At 260,000. 280. 280 is bid with Rachel at 280. 300,000 against you both at 300,000. Online has it 300. 320. 350. At 350,000. 380,000. Online, do you want 4? It's at 380. 400 is yours. At 400,000. At $400,000. Any more at 400. Online has the bid, 400,000. Last chance in the room. Christina, Rachel, 400 it is. Any more at $400,000. Now or never, $400,000. Last chance. Rachel, 400. Online, gavels up and selling for $400,000. If you do another one of those bids on the gavel at $400,000, it is here and selling for $400,000. Sold at $400,000. Sold to paddle 3033. Lot number 36. This is Tom Hanks's best friend. Castaway 2000, the hero prop Wilson, beloved Wilson. Let's start the bidding at $30,000, $32,000, $35,000, $38,000 at $38,000. He'll give me 40 right there in Texas at $40,000. 42 online at 42, 45 at 45,000. Texas, you still have it. 48 takes it away at 48,000. 50,000 at 50. Bless you. 50,000. Nick Finch, 50,000 in Texas. Anywhere else at $50,000. 55 at 55. 60 is next. 55,000, 60,000. All the bids on Christie's Live at the moment. 60,000 it is. Any more? $60,000. 65 at 65. 65 it is. It is here at $65,000. Anywhere else in the room at 65. 70,000 is bid at 70. $70,000. Online, you have it, $70,000, $31.40. It is yours and selling for $70,000, $75,000. Not yet. At $75,000. Do you want $80,000? At $75,000. At $75,000, $80,000 is bid. At $80,000. $80,000. Any more? $80,000 it is. Last chance. And selling for $80,000. Sold $80,000. This goes to paddle number 3149. 3140, in fact, excuse me. Thank you. 3140. Lot number 37. This is the Jackie Robinson professional model baseball bat. Bears a faded 42 on the knob, his number that was retired by Major League Baseball. Lot number 37. Let's start, shall we please, at $160,000 for this only, at $160,000, $170,000, $180,000, at $180,000, at $180,000, $190,000. I see here first, at $190,000, at $190,000. Liz's bid at $190,000. $200,000 is yours, sir, at $200,000. In the room at $200,000, $220,000, $240,000, at $240,000, $260,000, $280,000, at $280,000. Here at $280,000, do you want three? In the room at $280,000. $300,000 is bid, $320,000. At $320,000. Thank you for your bids. $320,000 it is here. Last chance at $320,000. Bidder in the room at $320,000. Against you this side, $320,000 is here and selling for $320,000. Sold, sir. Well done. At $320,000. Paddle 151. Lot number 38 is the exceptional Muhammad Ali professional model weigh-in fight robe. This is the first public appearance after changing his name from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali. $100,000 to start for this at $100,000. At $100,000. At $100,000. $110,000 online. Thank you. At $110,000. Bid is here at $110,000. At $120,000. Competing online bids at $120,000. $130,000 in Missouri. At $130,000. Who would like $140,000? $130,000 is the bid. $140,000. At $140,000. Still online at $140,000. $150,000 in a new place with Shreen at $150,000. At $150,000. Shreen, it is your bid. $160,000 takes it away. Do you want $170,000? At $160,000. $170,000? $170,000 is bid. $180,000. At $180,000. $190,000. $200,000 is bid. At $200,000. $220,000. $240,000. Online has it at $240,000. $260,000. $240,000. $260,000. Rachel, welcome back. At $260,000, right here, at $260,000. Any more at $260,000. $280,000. Rachel, do you want three? At $280,000. Two different telephones this side, online, at $280,000. Three, at $280,000. $300,000 is bid. Rachel has it at $300,000. It is still here at $300,000. Rachel White-Young's bid, $320,000. At $320,000. $320,000 is the bid. Rachel, say yes to 350. Otherwise, it's here at 320. Any more? At $320,000. It is here, 350. Rachel's bid on the telephone, 350,000, 380 if you'd like it. 350 is the bid and selling for $350,000. Last chance. It is here and selling for $350,000. Sold 1862, 350,000. Right. Lot number 39 is the fabulous Secretariat race used 1973 Triple Crown saddle from the Ron Turcotte Collection, much admired downstairs. Let's start, shall we please, at $800,000 for this, at $800,000, at $800,000, at $800,000, $850,000 in Texas, $900,000, at $900,000 against you, at $900,000, at $900,000, $950,000, at $950,000. The bid is right here at $950,000. Online, New York, New York. Texas, come back to me at $1 million. $1 million is bid. Rachel's bid at $1 million. $1,100,000. At $1,000,001. $1,200,000. At $1,200,000. $1,200,000 is the bid. It is here in the room at $1,200,000. Anywhere else on the telephones this side at $1,200,000. It is here and selling. It is yours, Rachel, at $1,200,000. New York, Texas. It is in the room, not yours, and selling for $1,200,000. Last chance at $1,200,000. Right here, selling for $1,200,000. Sold 1869 for $1,200,000. Okay, friends, we've got 4 lots left. This is lot number 40. This is the outstanding Wayne Gretzky Edmonton Oilers professional model home jersey. It is not only photo matched to his 500th career goal and the 1987 Stanley Cup final, clinching game number 7. It bears the captain's C, worn during the regular season. The provenance on this is incredibly impressive. This is lot number 40, and we shall start at $200,000 for this, at $200,000, at $200,000, $220,000, $240,000, at $240,000, $260,000, $280,000, at $300,000. Darling Dave, at $300,000, $320,000. At $320,000. Dave, come back to me. $320,000 is against you. Online has the bid at $320,000. $350,000 online in a new place. $380,000 all in New York at $380,000. $500,000 is bid. Dave Hunt's bid at $500,000. $550,000 at $550,000. At $550,000. Here at $550,000, anywhere else? At $550,000, $600,000. At $600,000, $650,000. Both bidders online in New York at $650,000. Dave, I'll call you darling if that's going to help. At $650,000. Anywhere else, $650,000 it is. $700,000 online. $750,000 at $750,000. Any more? $750,000. Gretzky's Edmonton Oilers jersey, $750,000. Last chance. It is selling for $750,000. Sold for $750,000. That goes to paddle 3276. Lot number 41. This is the spiritual letter by Steve Jobs, postmarked the day before his 19th birthday. Let's start, shall we please, with absentee bid interest on my book at $100,000, at $100,000, $110,000, $120,000, at $120,000, at $120,000. Any more? At $120,000, $130,000. Thank you. Joanna Flum's bid at $130,000. Patiently, Joanna, $130,000 is yours at $130,000. It is here with Joanna Flum at $130,000. Anywhere else? Joanna, this is your bid and selling for $130,000. Last chance at $130,000, $140,000 online. $150,000 at $150,000. Joanna's bid at $150,000. It is here at $150,000. $160,000. $170,000. Vice Chairman, 21st Century Art here, $170,000 in the room. Fair warning to you online, $170,000 is bid, $180,000. At $190,000. $190 is the bid, $200,000. At $200. $220 is bid. At $220. $240. Do you want $260? $260 is bid. At $260,000. $260,000 right here. Joanna's bid at $260,000. Fair warning to you online, $260,000 is the bid, and selling for $260,000. $280,000. 3 is bid. Thank you. At $300,000. $320,000. $350,000. $350,000. Still with Joanna on the telephone against you online, $350,000. It is still here, $350,000, last chance, and selling for $350,000. Sold, $350,000, $1,855. Thank you. Lot 42 is next. This is the Apple II manual, inscribed and signed by Steve Jobs. Did he ever have any idea? Lot number 42. Let's start at $100,000 with my absentee bidder right here at $100,000. $110,000, $120,000, $130,000, $140,000 at $140,000. At $140,000. Still against the room at $140,000. At $150,000, thank you. At $150,000. Joanna's bid at $150,000, $160,000. At $160,000. $170,000 is yours. At $170,000. Still here, Joanna's bid at $170,000. Are you going on? $170,000 it is. $180,000. $190,000. $200,000. At $200,000. $220,000 is bid. Against the online bidder, I saw here first at $200,000. At $200,000. Still with you, Joanna. It's yours at $200,000 and $20,000. Yours at $220,000. At $220,000. Online, I saw Joanna first. $220,000 is there. $240,000 could be yours. It's at $220,000 right here. Last chance. I'll give you a moment. $220,000. Joanna Flum's bid and selling for $220,000. Sold. $1,855, $220. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is lot number 43. This is the original typescript scroll for the monumental first draft of On the Road, the definitive Beat Generation novel by Jack Kerouac. Typed by Kerouac in New York City during a 20-day marathon between April 2nd and April 22nd of 1951, and on nearly 120-foot scroll of paper created by him from taped-together paper strips. It is the most expensive literary manuscript that has come to auction so far. This is lot number 43. And I can begin, first of all, by saying happy birthday to Mr. Kerouac. He would have been 104 today. I can only imagine what that would have been like for him. Let's start, shall we please, at $1,500,000. At $1,500,000, $1,600,000 straight away. Thank you, sir, at $1,600,000, $1,700,000. At $1,700,000. At $1,700,000, $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. At $1,800,000. $1,900,000. $2 million is bid. At $2 million, $2,200,000. At $2,200,000. 2.4, sir? Yes? At $2,200,000. At $2,200,000. 2,400,000. At $2,400,000. Gentleman's bid in the room at $2,400,000. It is on my left at $2,400,000, $2,600,000. 2,800,000. At $2,800,000. 3 million is bid. 3,200,000. At $3,200,000. At $3,200,000. Sylvia over here in the room at $3,200,000. Any more? Do you want 3, sir? $3,200,000 is here. $3,200,000 is your bid. At $3,200,000. I'll take 3 from either one of you. $3,200,000 is here. At $3,200,000. The bid is still here at $3,200,000. On my right, at $3,200,000. Last chance on this side. The bid is here in the room and selling for $3,300,000. 3,400,000. At $3,400,000. 3,500,000. $3,600,000. At $3,600,000. At $3,600,000. Zito, would you like $3,700,000? It is in the room at $3,600,000. I'll take 7 from either of you as well. At $3,600,000. It is in the room at $3,700,000 on the telephone. $3,800,000. At $3,800,000. At $3,800,000. Gentleman's bid, $3,800,000. Zeta, 3.9 if you wish. It's at $3,800,000. 3,000,009. 4 is bid. At $4 million. At $4 million. 4,000,001 is bid. 4,200,000. At 4,300,000. 4,400,000. 4,500,000. 4,600,000. At $4,600,000. It is in the room, here on my right. Zeta, 4.7. At 4.6. Gentleman's bid, $4,600,000. Checking in with both bidders on this side at $4,600,000. 4,700,000. 4,800,000. No hesitation. At 4,800,000. 4.9. $5 million is bid. 5,200,000. How about 5.4, Zeta? 5,500,000, even better. 5,000,008. At 5,000,008. 6 million is bid. At 6. 6,500,000. At 6,500,000. 6,500,000 is bid. Back to our original bidder in the room at $6,500,000. Thank you, Zeta, for your bids. It's looking promising, sir. At 6 million. Ooh. 7,200,000. At 7,200,000. At 7,200,000. Zeta, you've said no before. 7,300,000. 7,500,000. At 7,500,000. 7,600,000. 8 million is bid. At $8 million. At 8 million. Zeta? At 8 million. 8,500,000. At 8,500,000. At $8,500,000. 8,700,000. 9 million is bid. At 9 million. $9,500,000. 10 million is bid. At 10. $10 million. $10 million. It is here, gentleman's bid in the room. I'm double checking here. Anywhere else in the room? Thank you, Zita, for your bids. Sir, $10 million is yours and selling the Kerouac scroll for $10 million. Sold. Well done, Tom. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
And then you've got the last
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Where you can sell at 220, if you buy it again, fine, but they won't get it anymore. So there's another line there.
Okay.
So just give it a go. See.
Okay.
Let's give it a try for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, just before we conclude this phenomenal sale with lot 44, we have one other lot. It would be a shame if we didn't give it a shot. This is lot number 6. We are going to reopen lot number 6. Lot number 6 is the George Harrison's Matin Master Sound guitar used during the Beatles' summer 1963 tour and in Melbourne, Australia in circa 1960. It is now showing on the screen and as it was downstairs. We are reopening lot number 6, and then we'll get back to lot 44. Lot number 6, let's begin, shall we please, at $150,000. At $150,000, $160,000, $170,000, $180,000. At $180,000, $190,000. At $200,000. At $200,000. Anywhere else at $200,000. Last chance in the room at $200,000. 220,000 is here, just ahead of the online bidder at 220,000. Online, you have it at $220,000. She was indicating that it is your bid. I am taking your bid. Oh, am I so happy about that? At $220,000, title 3334, it is yours for $220,000. Sold. Okay. Our last lot of this marathon-like session. Thank you all for staying with us. Lot number 44. This is the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Hunter S. Thompson's 1973 Chevrolet Caprice Classic convertible, known simply as the Red Shark. Let's start, shall we please, at $50,000. At $50,000. 55,000, 60,000. At 60, 65,000, 70,000. 75,000 online, 80,000 if you'd like it. 75 is online, yes? 80,000 is here. $80,000. Zeta Gibson's, sorry, it is yours, Amelia, at $80,000. 85, thank you. Laura, your bid at 85. Amelia, do you want 90? 90 is your bid. At 90. 90,000. 95,000. At 95,000. 100,000. Amelia's bid at 100,000. It is here at $100,000. Amelia's bid against both of you at $100,000. The Red Shark at 110,000 online. 110. At 110,000. Why not? 115 is the bid. I'll take 120 from the online bidder. At 115,000. 120. At 120,000. Who would like 130? At 120 is the bid. Online has it at $120,000. Thank you. 130,000. Zita's bid at 130. At 130,000. Zita, your bid, 130,000. Laura, last chance. Online, fair warning. This is the Red Shark. 140,000 is bid. At 140, 150. At 150. Online, do you want 160? It is with the telephone at 150,000. Zita Gibson's bid. Last chance to you. I am selling it 160 in time. At 160. 200,000 is bid. At 200,000. Zita, that might have done it. At $200,000. Here at 200,000. Our last lot for the Hall of Fame sale at $200,000. Last chance to everyone in the room. Zita, your bid and selling for $200,000. Sold at $200,000. 1873. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We've enjoyed every moment of this sale. Please come back. We have 2 other full days of sales. We'd love to see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., Saturday morning at 10 a.m., and there's a whole online sale that awaits you. Good evening and good night.